Hello everyone, it's November and the season is not done. I haven't been to Kings Island for almost 2 years. In fact, it's almost been 3 years since I've been to Kings Island, as I was at the haunt here 2 years ago, and now I'm back finally. I couldn't let the season pass without getting an obligatory visit to one of my favorite parks in the world, and really the flagship park that started it all for me. Now, Wonderland is my home park, the sister park to this. However, this park has always had a special place in my heart, especially for the clientele that come here. It is a very community-based park, and you feel that when you come here to Mason and Kings Island. Now, there's obviously some great rides that we're going to get on today. I haven't been on the Beast since its retracking work, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to finally getting a second ride on Orion. I've only been on it one time, which is ridiculous to think about in the amount of times that I've been to this park. And in addition to that, I'm also going to get many rides on Mystic Timbers, as many as I can. I may marathon it today. I love that coaster so much. It's one of my favorites. It's definitely my favorite within this park. I don't think that's going to change, but we'll find out. Of course, we have Diamondback and other rides too to enjoy. I've got Fast Lane. It's part of the reason for coming down here for this bonus weekend in November. It's open for one more weekend, kind of in between the seasonal events. Well, definitely, as the Christmas tree is already up and the haunt only ended last week. All right, it's basically empty in the parking lot. I'm sure that's going to change soon enough. There is a little treat back there I'll cover right now. Just for the curious, there is a crane on site. I don't really have the interest in walking all the way down there to check it out, but it's a massive crane just waiting to be put into service, so who knows what that might be for. We already know what the attraction for 2026 is, but this might be preparations for beyond. All right, so let's get inside. Kings Island, first visit, and it seems like an age. This will probably be an epic one. All right, we have a pretty slow day here, or at least a slow start from what it looks like. So I'm gonna definitely probably have one of my best days here at Kings Island. Every time I come to this park, I'm just scrambling around trying to get footage and obviously get as many rides in. Today's no exception, here from 11 till 7 today, full park hours. I've never seen how they actually construct the ice rink here, and you can see that it is in motion. Boards at the top and plywood. I'm not an engineer, so don't ask for any expertise in that. All right, so I'm very excited to cover the park this year. However, I'm very excited to get on these rides. So I'm actually gonna marathon a couple of rides here early while it's slow, and then we'll focus on taking in the atmosphere of the park. It is empty right now, so I'm very tempted to get shots while we're here. Oh my God, the Chick-fil-A is gone. It's a Tom and Chi now. What happened? This was the busiest restaurant in theme park history, and now it's not even a Chick-fil-A. What happened? We'll see if this actually commands the same lines that the Chick-fil-A did. We have a credit that I haven't been on before, and I'm tempted to try it. And it looks like there's a gentleman on his own here too, so as per usual, an anticlimactic start here. This coaster is a ubiquitous one. I've been on this particular model many times, and there's nothing really special about this. And even the placement of the park, it's a little unusual because that's the first thing that kids run into when they come into the kids section. So it's like, bang, one of the big attractions that you want to get on. It's right there for you, at least for the little ones. Good times. A real bad judder though on the lift hill. There was like major jank back as we were being pulled up, so that was a bit jarring, which is why it ends up at the bottom of the list here. It's definitely the most ricketiest feeling coaster I think here at Kings Island.
Oh, there's Colton!
Stock Express. I'm actually surprised by this ride. Now, my initial chagrin is those 2 airtime hills that you have at the end of the ride have been reprofiled many years ago, so there's only now 1 airtime hill. Used to be the best ejector moment on the ride, but the maintenance on this ride is exceptional. It still feels its age, but it was very smooth and a very enjoyable ride. Really whippy around the track. And yeah, just a nice little fall ride here. A bit of a rough mid-course trim, which was surprising on this ride. I never noticed it before, but that's probably because it's taking so much speed throughout the course. It's really broken in really well. So, you know, for a park that has some legendary wood coasters, some that aren't here anymore, yeah, this is definitely still worthy of the cachet of being an excellent wood coaster for kids in this park. Just got off of Silver Streak at Wonderland just last week and rating it relatively high this season. This ride, definitely noticeable difference. A lot more bang, a lot more jank. Yeah, it's definitely one of the roughest rides that you'll find in a kids section for sure. Yeah, so that's a Vekoma suspended family coaster for you. The new designs are so far superior to these that it's kind of crazy to think that, you know, only 20 years into its service, how rough this ride actually is. Snoopy's Soapbox Racers here. It is a Vekoma boomerang coaster, a figure 8 layout, pretty standard actually, and really leaves a little bit lacking as far as the experience is concerned, other than those sleek new Vekoma family trains and are really, really smooth. In fact, that's a big takeaway from coming off of this ride. I haven't much to say other than some impressive G's on that first turn coming out of the station going forwards, and some good G's coming back too, but yeah, it's definitely not the most forceful of rides, which is why I'm going to rank it pretty low, unfortunately, at number 13 here in the park. At number 12 here in the park. It's a good ride, a great attraction. I've long said that Vekoma family coasters need to come to these parks in North America. I'm glad to see it. I just wish there was something a little bit more creative and maybe larger for a park with a substantial draw that Kings Island has. Unexpected surprise. This day and age, when you're dealing with theme parks, you always got to keep tabs on what's going on. You got to go online, you got to find out what the condition is and the open status of your rides. Well, sure enough, the beast is not open. There's a missing portion of the second lift hill, so I'm hoping that maybe they'll get it open for today. Surely it'll open. Yeah, they'll build the rest of that hill before we're done for today, clearly. Gutted that I'm not going to be able to get on it today. Very uninformed me back in early 2020 thought that I would be coming to Orion on its opening day to ride it. Well, that certainly didn't happen, as I lived in Canada and I was banned from even trying. But we're finally now got re-rides on this 5-year-old coaster now. I can't believe how quickly time catches up with us. So yes, I had a couple rides in the front, one ride in the back. I may change my ranking of this because I'm really trying to get a front and a back seat proper, which I'm sure I'll be able to do today with the fast lane. I'm still not sure why this ride is here. It's so much similar, it's very similar to Diamondback. It really is just Diamondback on steroids. The only real different sensation, I would say, is that low-profile airtime hill, which really gives you a lot of airtime and ejector, especially in the front, I noticed. And then also the winged airtime hills. The very first one, if you're in a front right seat, you're definitely going to notice it as it really pops on that right side. Second winged over or sort of banked airtime hill on the left doesn't really have as much force to it. It's an ampersand, so you know, if you like Fury and you live in Ohio, you at least get that sensation there. But that's pretty much it. You know, the ampersand turn is not really something that I thought, you know, looks beautiful to see, but when you experience it, it's not really much of anything. And even people on the ride are kind of like, it's an okay ride, it's a bit mid, and that's all I can really say about it. Orion is a mid ride. It's a 300-foot, I'm not going to be here for the Giga debate, it's still a 300-foot drop, and it's great, but in a park like Kings Island, it doesn't stand out, which is remarkable. This ride would really be a standout ride in many parks, but here it's just not good enough for Kings Island, I find. So yeah, I think that most of the park are still salivating for that next big thrill that's going to come to put this park back on the map globally, because it's just not been done with Orion, unfortunately. A ride on Racer Red, the John Allen Classic. There's so many thoughts going through my head, so I just had to, before I even do the blue side, kind of give a review. And John Allen is the coolest ever roller coaster designer as far as I'm concerned. You want to know why? Definitely look him up on YouTube. It's just one of the coolest, I think. Yeah, so respects to the legend that is no longer with us. My hair's out of whack. I've been on a couple rides in a row. In addition to that, I rode Racer 75, this coaster's sister coaster that came after this one debuted. All right, the English is all over the place. I haven't had a full night of sleep. But I will say Racer 75 is far superior than this ride. So yeah, I didn't really find much airtime to it. Didn't really impress me overall, unfortunately. So maybe the blue side will run a little bit better. Just didn't really have the punch that I expect, especially after that Racer 75 experience a couple weeks back. I think that's the far superior coaster. I'll get you guys on the next one. Adventure Express. I did actually get a front seat ride during the day. More often than not, I ride this ride at night because it's just unbeatable at night, especially during the summer when you got proper tree cover. It's a little bit more open here in the fall with the trees shorn of leaves, but it gave a different sort of impression with me because I noticed some of the details that this ride has that I didn't notice before. You have that abandoned car with the monkeys all on top of it. It's kind of like a standard sort of thematic element, but it was very effective, and I I didn't notice that you had that one piece of track that you turn off onto the closed track, which is the course that you're taking, as is always the case. You're on the wrong track. But I didn't notice they actually have a broken piece of track right at that turning point, which was kind of cool. I guess you don't really notice these things if you're in the back of the train as they whisk by very fast. The rest of the ride, yeah, it was a bit janky, I will admit. Very rickety, but still enjoyable nonetheless. I had a great time. And yeah, it definitely picks up speed, but I'm gonna come back later on tonight to get a night ride. I'll get a full assessment of it at that time for sure, because it's definitely an unbeatable ride at night. And with no Beast, we've got to come back. Just finished 3 rides in a row on Banshee, and that's a record for me at Kings Island. I'm probably going to get on 6 times. Look at my hair, it's just all over the place. Definitely reflective of the ride. I enjoyed it. I found the last ride on the back left quite rough, and that was not the same for the first 2, and the second ride was in the very back on the right, so I don't know what that was about. Maybe it has to do with the train, but very impressive. It is a bit rough, but at the same time, it's got a brawny sort of aspect to it. This is a no-nonsense ride, the biggest invert in the world, and it definitely shows it. Yeah, some impressive elements. I love the fact that they have that loop so late in the course, and the dive after the inline twist is exceptional without question. Favorite elements, I definitely enjoy the bow tie. Probably my favorite, though, is the inline twist, or the 0G roll that leads into that dive. It's just so extended. It really takes a lot of force, or a lot of like positive forces on that sort of scoop out before you go into the bow tie element. Bow tie element, lots of floater, very good. The course, the trains just take the course very fast on this, so you really kind of have to pay attention, because you're just being thrown into so many elements one after the other, except for that final inline twist, which is so impressive with the slowness that it takes. And then you dive into that helix, which, because of the elevation change, there's a lot of positive G's on that helix as well. It really sucks everything out of you before the end of the ride. Excellent ride on Banshee. Slight confession to make. Me being a Kings Island historian and being fascinated with this park for so many years, I've never been in the Fest House, so we're going in now. Might as well make sure that that does not continue. Fest House time. It is not too late to celebrate Oktoberfest, as we have a Marzen Oktoberfest lager here in the Fest Hall. Very appropriate. Prost. So we're halfway through our day here. It is almost 3 o'clock. The park closes in 4 hours. I've done everything, and I got my Marzen. I'm gonna go actually to the other side of the park and kind of do a zigzag pattern in the opposite way that I did it earlier. I've done all the coasters I want to do today. Unfortunately, like mentioned earlier, Beast is closed, but the sun has come out, which is kind of cool. And the glockenspiel going on behind me in the background. So we're gonna enjoy our Marzen. We're gonna go to the other side of the park, and then we're gonna weave on back and capture things that we didn't on the first time. The sun has come out. It has turned into a very nice day here in early November. Just had a second ride on Racer. That blue train is really destroying the red train, unfortunately. So if you do come here, every single time I've noticed the blue train has literally outpaced the red, even though they are in line on the lift hill. Yeah, it's destroying it. So that was the blue train. Pretty much a similar ride. I don't have anything else to add from my original review. It just does not feel like it has the strength and punch that Racer 75. I know it's unfair to compare another ride, but similar design, same designer, very similar park. Yeah, it was much more superior at King's Dominion. I've had such a great time here at Kings Island. It reminds me every time I come here why I'm an enthusiast and why I love Cedar Fair Legacy Parks, but theme parks in general. It is just such a spectacular experience for older enthusiasts like myself, because even though you do have crazy kids that are doing their thing, you have a lot of older enthusiasts here that represent their brand. Everyone here is in a t-shirt from their respective park. You can essentially figure out who people are from, where people are from, just based on what shirt they're wearing or what sweatshirt they're wearing. It's a vibe. This is an enthusiast hub. I know I said it in the last vlog from here, and that was 2 years ago, but there's no better place to feel appreciated for your enthusiasm, let's say, than Kings Island. It really is second to none. I'm having such a great time. And we still have half of my experience to go, so let's do it. We got night rides coming up. It's gonna be a good time. It's certainly worth a mention for those of you that are curious. Obviously 2026 we do have a new attraction, or an old but new attraction returning here to Kings Island. Boo Blasters on Boo Hill has been retired after many years of service, and we're returning back to the Phantom Theater, which will reopen here in 2026. They've already started work on it now, so the attraction is closed. anecdote because I just rode Diamondback in the back, which I wanted. However, there was a fellow enthusiast on the train with me, or on the car with me, and we were just like chatting during the actual ride, so I didn't even actually take stock of what I was experiencing because we were like kind of like, yeah, the back, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, it was pretty funny. Enthusiasts are a quirky bunch for sure. When you meet a very quirky one, sometimes they'll completely distract you from what you're experiencing, and that's exactly what happened because he even said, he's like, normally I pay attention to the back, but I didn't on that one. And I was like, well, I didn't either because we were chatting. All right, I'm back in the line. Second ride on Diamondback in a row done. Fantastic. It's a great ride. I definitely will say, though, it is a front seat ride without question. That is a front seat B&M. It's a great ride. I enjoy it, but it's just not enough from what I expect from B&M as far as that particular model is concerned. I'd even say that Candemonium has impressed me more than Diamondback. But that said, it has the longest line in the park today. It's almost as long as it would be on a busy day during Haunt or any other time that I've been here when it's been busy. Now because I'm sure to forget it before the end of the night. Mystic Timbers, number one. I remember that first time ride, and it was so distinctive in the fact that I had no idea what to expect. Not a great word of mouth with this coaster when it first actually came out. The stats are not that impressive, so you're like, okay, why is this a big deal? It is a GCI, so you're like, okay, it's probably gonna be decent. This is the best roller coaster in this park. And why? Because if you like low profiling and a lot of speed, well, this is the ride. I cannot still really fathom how they actually came up with the profile of this ride, because when you're coming on the out and back, there's just so many nuances to the track that just like, it's unforgiving. I've said so many things about it. I love it to death, and I've had 4 rides on it, and every single time I go on, I'm just like, oh my God, it's so good. Mystic Timbers. I come to this park specifically for this ride. Feast is great, but all the time in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm gonna get on Mystic Timbers again. I'm gonna get on Mystic Timbers again. I'm gonna do a night ride on Mystic Timbers. So, let's continue this review later on, because I'm gonna come back in an hour and do a final night ride tonight. I was thinking about this on my way down here, and we are still in a situation of a post-vortex Kings Island. And there's certainly enough comments on my other Kings Island videos to legitimize my perspective of that this park has still not been the same without vortex when it left us, because at the same time, you have this just vacant space, so gargantuan and underused, and requiring a major coaster worthy of a world-class park that unfortunately this park does not have currently. But maybe one day again, that will be taken care of. I don't have much faith in Six Flags or the new version of Six Flags in replacing a classic coaster like Vortex, but I certainly hope that it does happen at some point. Completely distracted by this very active game. Also, if you go to American parks, and the sports games here are definitely way more intense than they are, say, where I'm from. So yeah, it's always good to check that out.
all loose articles. Loose articles are not permitted. You may hand articles to an attendant, but they are not responsible for them. Keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times. And remain seated.
Just finished Flight of Fear. I must admit, that was a solid ride. I got a front seat ride on my second trip today, and I decided I wasn't actually planning to ride it again, but I've not been on this ride that many times. I was on it its debut season, and I think it's actually still been less than 10 times that I've been on it, so when it's open you take advantage of it, and actually that was a really good ride. The reason why this one is better than the King's Dominion version in its current form is because the lighting in the actual building is appropriate. It's dark, you don't know where you're going, and I'm going to say something controversial, but if you want to have a drink before going on that ride, you're going to have an amazing time, because yeah, that was pretty wild. But we have this one to do next, so let's go on our ride. Say one of the best rides in this park, not because it's one of the best coasters, but because of the lighting package that they've invested in this park. If my home park is listening, and I know you are, at the end of the day I have to rate this park better than my home park, even though it's based on this place, because of the investiture of stuff like this behind me. It's incredible. That really was the difference maker of what is, for me, a bit of a mid-ride. It is not an unpopular opinion, but when you do this at night with that lighting package, stellar. It really is a difference maker, so much so I'm going to go on it again. The night has creeped up on me, and I am now scrambling to try to get everything in because I've forgotten a couple things that I wasn't originally thinking about. I got to get on Adventure Express for a night ride. It is a tradition here at night, so I'm on my way there, and Banshee as well. So let's get those in, and maybe we'll get on the Bat, depending on the line. So I'm going there first, and then I'm going to make my way back, see how we make out. Adventure Express, night ride, unbelievable. I just can't say enough. Every single time I do it, I'm just like blown away. That was a really fun ride though, because there was a lot of interactivity with everybody on the train. And for those of you that remember, now you will pay. Unfortunately, the arms aren't going, but if you want to do it, yeah, I had a great time. That was awesome. So now I gotta hustle. All right, let's get some more rides in. All right, we're back at the Bat. And I definitely made the right call, as there's no lineup now. So we're gonna get a night ride on the Bat, which really is where it's at. Sorry. But it is really the preferred option if you're gonna ride this ride. Ride on the Bat done. It is not Vortex, I will say that. It doesn't take the speed that Vortex does currently, so that is the difference maker, and that is why this ride does not get the accolades that it does, or that Vortex is getting this season. Still a great ride. Actually, I was very impressed with, like, you know, you're diving into a valley, into darkness, so this is really only a night ride for me, although I do like that lift hill and that sort of coast across the turnaround before you do the drop in day, so you can see like how high you are versus being in Vortex in the mountain where that effect does not take place. I'm in a hustle to get to Mystictimbers in time. I have 8 minutes to get across the park to get there, and also a wash and break. Wish me luck. Here we go. over here. I hope it's not in vain. We've got here just in time for our night ride on Mystic Timbers to end the night. Can you tell I'm out of breath? A final ride on Mystic Timbers in the night. It really beguiles me, certain enthusiasts that don't even rate that ride that highly. It is one of the best wooden coasters, if not the top 5 that I've ever ridden. Every single time I get off of Mystic Timbers, I'm blown away. It leaves me breathless, and that night ride is one of the best that you can possibly experience in the world. Diamondback going beyond me. Didn't get that. I've been on Diamondback at night many times, and it's nowhere near the experience that Mystic Timbers is. I just finished up summing up my ranking of coasters here, but unfortunately it's going to be slightly delayed with the unfortunate unavailability of Beast. I'm going to probably be back here early in the season next year to get on that ride because they're doing even more work on it, so I'm looking forward to experiencing it. 3 years separated from my last ride, so it's going to be a very, very different experience than what I'm used to, so I'm looking forward to that. An amazing experience that I've had at Kings Island here today, regardless of the fact that Beast is not available. I love this park. Every single time that I'm on the fence about there's a lot of challenges that you experience being a YouTuber and an enthusiast, either a theme park enthusiast, as I like to identify as, versus a roller coaster enthusiast, which I love roller coasters, don't get me wrong, but there's just a little bit of that world that I just don't want to associate with. So I love theme parks, and this park is one of the best, and it's probably the one that actually, even though Canada's Wonderland is my home park, in my childhood I was always fascinated by this park. And the first time that I ever went to it, it did not disappoint. And now, getting on to like close to a dozen visits to this park, it still has never disappointed. Every single time I come here, I love it. And that's Kings Island. It is a special place. Thank you everyone for joining me on what has been a remarkable visit to Kings Island. Not really remarkable in the sense that every time that I come here, I have such a great time. But I was on the fence about whether or not to come back to the park in the 2025 season. It kind of didn't really fit into my schedule. I originally had a plan to visit, and it kind of fell through in the fall because unfortunately my Strickers Grove visit didn't happen. That all said, I've had an amazing time. Hello to all you Kings Island fans that do watch the vlogs. There is a second part to the Curse of Kings Island coming up soon, which is part of the reason why I'm here. But I've had such a tremendous time. This park reminds me every time about why I'm an enthusiast. And I know I said it before, but it's just, I feel like I'm with fam when I'm here. So yeah, it's just a remarkable time, and I love it so much. And yeah, a great day. Multiple re-rides on Orion and Mystic Timbers, Banshee, it goes on. Even managed to get the bat in. What a day. Yeah, so I don't know what to say. I'm flabbergasted. I'm actually kind of on the fence here because I'm like, I don't want to leave. But you have to because the park's closed. So thank you everyone for joining me. I hope to see you very soon. Thank you for the Kings Island faithful. I definitely, you have an amazing park, and I wish it was my home park. I'll say that much. There is nothing like a visit to Kings Island, and I've been reminded once again. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for dropping in.